And welcome back to Game Night tonight for another unboxing of this game, Spirit Island, Branch and Claw. So it's an expansion to the original Spirit Island game. So this one is not a standalone game. You need the base set, but it does add some new characters that you can play with, new spirits to protect the islands and fend off those pesky explorers. All right, so let's hop right in and see what this game has to offer. Really excited. I love this game in general. It's like one of my favorite games to play right now. But you have Spirit Island here, the Branch and Claw expansion. So the rules here, so it's going to be extensive just like the original is. It's a 23 page, but it is a half page. But it's going to show you everything that you're going to be able to do. Looks like kind of basic overview of the game itself. So there you have it. You get the rules. We're going to have new tokens, it looks like. So these newer tokens are going to be adding more facets to the game, more powers, innate powers and everything that the spirits have to fend off those explorers. But you have different rocks, it looks like, rocks as well as the different tokens, things that are going to be happening that each of the different spirits have to offer. So it looks like we have different spirits here. We've got the sharp fangs behind the leaves. So you got this guy right here. He's got his backstory, kind of like the setup, his play style, what he uses. It looks like he's using the claws. So it's a pretty awesome panther looking guy. So obviously the innate powers that are going to be happening throughout the game as you're collecting different powers, minor and major powers in the game. You have that guy as well as the keeper of the Forbidden Wilds. So he again has all of his innate powers and everything like that. So it looks like his gameplay is going to be using these like leaves. So seeing as he's kind of like he looks like an Ent from Lord of the Rings or something. So kind of a tree person, but he has a lot of defense, but quite a bit of offense, which the rock spirit from the original game only has a lot of defense, not much offense. So that's kind of cool that he's both. But then we have right in here our cards. Looks like the scenario cards, at least for some of them. Man, can't even get this open. Hold on. There we go. All right. So we got some scenario cards in here. So depending on how much you've played in the game, sometimes like it takes a while to get up to knowing exactly everything that's going on in the game. You have to play with different people quite a bit, but there's different scenarios which can be more challenging to it and everything. So this is the Kingdom of France plantation colony. So this looks like you're gonna be getting a lot of different scenarios in there, but you got more scenarios, even more scenarios. So we got 4 new scenarios that you're supposed to achieve the different objectives there, fending off the different explorers as they're just destroying the land and overtaking everything, kicking the spirits off, all that stuff. So you have the different scenarios that you can do at any point in time on different games that you're playing. So they have a front and back telling you what things you can and cannot do in that specific scenario, but you got 4 new ones with a 5th, the Kingdom of France plantation colony there. So there's some scenario cards for us, and then we have an additional little board that's going to add on to the board that we already have. So it has the scenario, your adversary that you're going up against, and then you have the different it looks like cards for those different characters and everything. So you have the events that you're going to be discarding. So there's going to be a lot more happening in the game than there already is. So we have some organization bags, which I love. Organization is key. I just love it. Love it. All right, let's see if I can crack into this. Nope. Gonna need a knife to get in there. All right. So in the game, there's a lot of power cards. So you have minor powers, major powers, and those powers are going to help you as a spirit to fight off the explorers as they're trying to overtake the land and get rid of the spirits and the natives to the land and everything like that. So you're going to be running across all these major powers here. So you got major powers, which are more like even stronger. You have the elements that will help you build up your powers and activate different innate powers for the different characters, whoever you're playing, whichever spirit you're playing as. But the more that you have, obviously this is a great card. It has every single one of the elements that are on the side, which will help activate your innate powers and other powers as you're playing them. But you're going to be running into all sorts of, these look like the minor powers. Yep, I am correct. Tons of little minor powers that don't cost as much because the cost is at the top. Anything in blue is going to be a slow power. Anything in red is a quick power. But you're going to have all these different ones that are going to be adding to the way that you can defend and put on the offensive your spirit and the natives to fight off all these explorers. But this game is just a lot of fun. I love this game. Being able to change it up all the time. It changes every single time, the way that you play it, who you play with, who you're playing as, everything. So tons of minor and major powers, it looks like, to use the Dahan to fend off the explorers and ultimately win the game, whether or not you've incited enough fear to kick them off or to wipe them out entirely the way that you need to. So really, really cool addition here, because some of the powers from the other one, it's hard to get the combinations that you need, but with all of these powers, both major and minor, it's going to be huge. And that's not even all of them. But you do have your base cards, the ones that have the symbol of the picture of the spirit. So these go with his starter deck, and then you got these guys who go with that guy's starter deck, and then you're getting into your minor powers and major powers. So there you have it for that side of things right there, as well as right here the tokens, what they mean, and then choice events. So different explanation cards here for each player. So you have 4 for the 4 players that are on there. We've got more Blighted Island scenarios, basically, because each time you play the game, you can play with the base, which is not using a Blighted Island card at all, which makes it slightly easier. But if you play with the Blighted Island cards, it makes it more challenging, a different scenario happening every time. So you only get so many blight before you could potentially lose the game or lose at a faster rate. But if you have a healthy island, it is nice. But once you get a Blighted Island, it's not so good. So it looks like we've got 3, 6, 7 new cards here for the blight cards. So adding a little bit more into that. Pull up my knife again, get this cut. All right. And into the second pack, which on the top, it already looks like we've got more powers. So I think we had more minor powers in the last one. So these are going to be all of our major powers right up to here. So we got some more major powers, the stronger powers, obviously. But mind you, when you are playing the game, when you get a new major power, you have to forget another power. So you're going to be discarding another card as you get this one, but it should amplify your overall deck to fight off the explorers, because you will have a stronger card with more things happening, more stuff that will help you in fighting off and maintaining the peace and serenity of your island. Just how it goes. So a lot more powers there for the major powers. We're getting into some more fear cards, which fear cards are great. The more fear you incite into the explorers, the stronger you become, because you have different things based on what level you're at. You're going to be defending 1 in all lands. You can defend in 2 on all lands, defend 3. So based on what level of fear you're at in the game allows you to do more. So the more fear you can incite, the better, because then you get closer to winning. And these always help in fighting against those explorers to minimize their effect and impact on blighting the land and everything like that. So you've got a good handful of fear cards here that will help out as you're going. So good addition there. And then now this is kind of new, but we've got event cards. So a whole handful of event cards here. Different events that are going to be happening, which will either make it easier or maybe make it a little bit harder for both you and the other spirits that you guys are playing with, whether you're playing together. Again, this is a cooperative game, so if you do play by yourself, it's a little challenging, but you play with other people, you add up the different spirits' powers, and it makes it that much easier to fend off the explorers so that they are not winning and taking out all of your natives. Because, man, you need those natives there to protect the land. But, man, just a lot of different things happening here. And like, based on where your fear's at, you're going to have cultural assimilation, reprisal against the Dahan, all the different things. So tons of events happening. Just like as the explorers are going out, they're increasing in power. You can also be increasing in power based on what you get, what events come up, what powers you have. things like that. So there you go, a whole bunch of event cards. I'm excited to see how those play into the game. But ultimately, that's all the cards that come with this. So we have the cards, you got your game board here, you've got your player mats, basically, your player mats. You got all the different cards there, organizational and the scenario cards, as well as all the tokens that are going to be coming with this expansion. This is one of the 2 expansions that are out right now, as far as I know. But I love the base game. This is going to add to it. You're adding 2 new characters, a lot more facets between scenario cards as well as events. So there's going to be a lot more happening in the islands to either help or deter you from fending off from these explorers. So there you have it for Spirit Island Branch and Claw expansion. Check out the game playthrough to see how these kind of come into play and how each character plays out. It might be a little bit challenging just because there's so many characters that we can play with. So getting as many of those in there as we can so you guys kind of understand how each one works and everything will be what we're going to try and do. But join us next time. If you subscribe, you'll be ready for any upcoming videos that come out as we go. But stay tuned for another unboxing or another game playthrough, what have you, but we will catch you on the next video.